KCSRadio.com. Good morning. Thanks for being with us here today. County Commissioners segment featuring Sherene Hess, Bonni Dunlap, two of our county commissioners, and our visit is presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 4 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Now, if you listened to the news yesterday, a part of that newscast, or those newscasts yesterday, included Sherene and her visit and testimony at one event that had to do with data centers. Commissioner Dunlap, you were at another event with the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, and it had to do with that same general topic as well, did it not?
So about a month ago, the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission sponsored a trip for all the 10 county commissioners if we wanted to go to visit data centers in Loudoun County, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
That is the largest area of concentrated data centers in the United States, second largest, I believe, in the world. There's over 200 data centers in that area down there.
Wow.
We went down to visit two specific data centers owned by QTS, and we had a tour of the insides and the outsides, and had different people in not commissioners, but other leaders in the community come in and talk to us about the impacts down there and,
Mm-hmm.
and the effects of the data centers on that area.
Mm-hmm. All right, we want to visit with you about that. Sherene, you were giving testimony before a legislative committee that was talking about the impact of data centers as well, specifically to Pennsylvania, and that included some back and forth between both sides of the issue, or the issues, and you offered testimony at that event as well.
I did. This was the Center for Rural Pennsylvania, and this is a bicameral and bipartisan group of individuals chaired by Senator Gene Yaw from the northeastern part of the state, where they have lots of similar kinds of things as Indiana County resource extraction-wise, but do a lot of natural gas hydrofracturing and things of that nature. But anyway, they're so all this set to say is he's familiar with these issues that affect communities in such ways. And all of that group is really. But so, yes, the testimony was related to, and they're looking to learn more about these impacts. And so they did have an individual from the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, which is very instrumental in all of this, related to how electricity costs are affected. And there was an individual from the PJM, the grid, to which and from which all these the electricity needed to power data centers would come. So there were and then there was a panel of commissioners, and the other commissioner was Shane Neckerson from Tioga County, and so we were just giving our experiences on that panel, and mostly about. In their case, they adopted an ordinance related to data center construction and the things that they would like to see happen in that regard. And my testimony was related to our experience here with the Homer City redevelopment project and what that could mean in terms of the effects in revenue to our tax base, to the community-wide effects such as noise, light, sighting aspects, things related to quality of life, to the impacts to the environment, possibly air, land, water, also emergency response needs that will have to be met, and also just impacts to the community at large. I think we've all seen already a different look in our restaurants, and there's some new folks there. There's some faces that I've never seen, which is kind of unusual. When you live here for so many years and you see the same people, so it's very interesting. So that's what my testimony was related to. And to your point about some back and forth, I think that it was interesting to hear. So there were kind of, I wouldn't say conflicting, but there are different lenses through which these individuals are seeing this issue. And so it's bringing up some interesting points. Yeah. So I'll kind of leave it at that. But it was a really neat experience, and it was a huge investment of time and et cetera. But I'm glad I did it. It's important for these legislators and these individuals to know what is happening at the local level. We think everyone knows, but they don't.
Yeah,
So-
I'm going to come back to you on that very topic. Bonnie, I want to ask you from that same general area. There's been a lot of talk about regulations, ordinances. Who is to institute, say, a local ordinance, a countywide ordinance, a statewide, which would be more of a regulation or a law. And I think that is one of the areas that is, let's say, Pennsylvania is weakest at right now, is there's not a lot of regulation. There's not a lot of information out there about what counties or municipalities can and should do when it comes to data centers and the power that is needed to actually make them work.
So I have about 3 different ways to respond to that, but let me start with one, the first one. So let's drill down to the local level. Government starts at the local level. And the local level is the boroughs and townships. So that's where we first have to look to say, what are your rules there? What are the rules for your township? What are the rules for your borough? Because that's where we need to see them first. Because not everything that applies to your township might apply to the next township. The other thing is, then you move to the county level. We are doing a lot of research. A lot of people think that we aren't doing anything, but we are. We've researched other counties. There are a few counties that have done ordinances, including Tioga, and we've read those very carefully, and we're looking at those. But you can't just knee-jerk reaction to put an ordinance in, because if you put an ordinance in about a specific thing, it doesn't just apply to that industry. Mm-hmm. It might apply to something else that you never even thought about the impact to. So if you put a noise ordinance in, then anything else that hits those decibels would be under that ordinance. Mm-hmm. So if you have a concert, you're going to go over the decibels, for example. I mean, that's a kind of a crazy example, but you have to think about those things. And then you have to think about the enforcement. So you put an ordinance in, who's going to enforce it? And then what are the penalties? So it's not that we aren't looking at all those things. We're trying to evaluate, and we're doing very careful research, and we're working with our planning director and our planning commission, and we're looking at our land ordinance to say, is it comprehensive enough? Is there anything we have to do? We're looking at the state regulations. We're looking at what is going through the Department of Environmental Protection. We're looking at all those state things that we're saying, are they vetting them properly enough at that level that we need to worry about it coming down to our level, that we have to put anything else in place? So there's levels there of a government, and we are looking at all those levels.
There are necessities for ordinances, and then there's the actual how-to of an ordinance.
Exactly. It's easy to just say, oh, you need to do this. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more involved than just all of a sudden saying, yeah, we're going to enact and do this.
Yeah, and Sherene, of course, with your experience, as you went to that hearing last week, you said Tioga County has enacted some ordinances, and so I'm sure that you're thinking about the necessity of an ordinance for this or for that issue, because there are many issues, and where does it go? Who enacts that, and how widespread is it? What's the impact of it? Those all have to be considered. But there are a lot of people saying, we need the regulation, we need it now.
There are a number of groups and individuals who have, and rightly so, some concerns. This is an industry, and it will have impacts to our community, such as we've been told. And I guess I want to say that, as everyone has said, there's nothing in writing for a data center or anything of a leasing aspect at that complex. But I will say that I do think that it's worth looking into a county ordinance on data centers. I think we need to do more research, and we are. And we have a planning commission, a very good planning commission who's looking into those matters. And we have a great staff at the planning office who are researching. There's a lot to it. Mm-hmm. I mean, just when you think you are ahead of it, you're quickly behind the curve. So, and to Commissioner Dunlap's point about what you have to follow, the municipality's planning code is what municipalities need to follow. It's not like they can say no to to a data center or any industry. They have certain rights that they can implement, such as where and different things related to it, but they cannot say no. And the county's in the same spot. We cannot say no. But my point, and I think all of our point, is we want to protect the community. We want to maximize the good things that could happen, and we want to minimize the negative impacts. And so we will use the tools that we have. And one of those tools, in addition to ordinances, is community benefit agreements. And that's a kind of a new term that we talk about around these parts. But I hope that we'll talk a little bit more about CBAs, and I like to call them community investment agreements. But there's so many needs that a place like ours has. We would like to, and a CBA is a legal tool between a group of groups of communities or such and the developer about, here's how we would like to see this go. Can you work with us? Will you work with us? So could be anything related to workforce programs, hire local, talk about protection of the quality of life aspects of this, fiscal responsibilities, even things like let's help us get digital literacy really implemented here. I read a statistic that only maybe 5%, there's a certain, we're very low on the number of percentage of households that own a computer in Indiana County, believe it or not, compared to all the counties around us. I didn't realize it, but we got some catching up to do if we want to kind of connect to the wider world.
Yeah.
So those are some tools that we can use.
And you just gave us an idea for another segment. Let's get that scheduled.
Got it.
Let's get that scheduled. It really is a timeliness issue, though, isn't it? Because these data centers are coming. They're coming at us fast.
It's just so fast. The developments are so fast everywhere across the nation.
Yeah.
And especially they seem to be really targeting Pennsylvania a lot, because we've got all the right things to put. When I say that, I'm thinking not more of the data center. I'm thinking more of the power.
Yes.
The power
We literally
part
have
of it, the
energy.
generation part of it.
We have energy to burn.
Yeah.
And we're close to the grid. We have this where a lot of people live, so it's right. It's sort of like the place.
Yeah. All right, so we got to get it going here. We're done for this segment. We're out of time, but my goodness, we have to talk more. It's Indiana in the Morning. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160.